Good afternoon and welcome to Studio G.
News made for the Rebel in you.
I'm Ashley Palia.
And I'm Mark Chisholm.
UNLV students, fans, and alumni celebrated homecoming football at Sam Boyd Stadium this past Saturday. Jeff Jens has more.
UNLV students and alumni showed out this past Saturday, November 16th, for the Rebels' last homecoming football game at Sam Boyd Stadium. Energy was high as the UNLV football team took the field. Fans, students, and alumni participated in activities and festivities on and off the field and on camera. Despite 2 interceptions in favor of UNLV and Kenyon Oblad's 31-yard pass to Darren Woods Jr., giving UNLV a 7-0 lead in the first quarter. Hawaii would have 2 picks of their own, including a pick 6 with a minute 33 left in the third quarter for a 14-7 Rainbow Warriors lead. Hawaii would come out with the win, 21-7, leaving UNLV scoreless the rest of the game. Senior Jericho Flowers talked after the game about moving forward with their last 2 games of the season.
I mean, win, lose, or draw, you have to get better. All of us have to go. Some of us want to continue playing. Some of us are coming back next year. So if you want to keep playing, crying about the loss or crying about something bad that happens isn't going to make you better. It's not going to help you out. So just keep grinding, and something's going to take you. You either get better or you get worse. Who wants to get worse?
UNLV takes on San Jose State at Sam Boyd Stadium this Saturday, November 23rd at 1 p.m. For Studio G, I'm Jeff Jens.
The Rebels take on Wolfpack in Reno Saturday, November 13th.
The 2020 presidential election is fastly approaching. While the general election is a little less than a year away, the Nevada caucus is February 22nd. Democratic candidates have been making visits to our Southern Nevada community to try to get their message out. Just this weekend, Democratic candidates Joe Biden, Elizabeth Warren, and Andrew Yang visited Las Vegas. Because of our swing state, locals can expect many candidates to visit the Valley.
Rain, rain, go away. Our reporter Zachary Green is out in the field on this wet and rainy day. What's going on, Zach?
Guys, it is raining, it's pouring. I'm wearing my favorite yellow coat because of the wet weather we are having. And because of this wet weather, there's a lot of things we need to be careful of while we're driving out on the roads today.
One of the biggest dangers when it comes to rainy days are road conditions for locals across the valley. With rising waters and slick roads comes the potential for major accidents and collisions. A few signs to be on the lookout for when driving in rainy weather is that your vehicle isn't hydroplaning. That's when your tires are unable to catch the road, causing your vehicle to slide out of control. Another one is driving through splash zones, which are large puddles of water that can cause one car to kick up water on the other vehicle's windshield, making it really difficult to see. And there's also flood zones. These are major bodies of waters that can sometimes seem safe to drive through. However, it's never a good idea to go through with it. No matter the size of your vehicle, if your vehicle stalls in water, you'll be in a very sticky situation.
So make sure you're watching out for flash flooding, slick zones, and just major bodies of water. It is really dangerous, and if you don't know how to maneuver them, you really shouldn't be going near them. I'm going to enjoy the rest of my rainy day. Reporting for Studio G, I'm Zachary Green.
Thanks, Zach. Make sure you don't forget your boots and umbrellas if you're out and about today.
Today we bring a sad story hitting the Las Vegas community hard. The death count from the 1 October shooting grew from 58 people to 59. Kim Gervais went to the Route 91 music festival 2 years ago and was shot and paralyzed. For the past 2 years, she lived in a hospital bed as a quadriplegic. Monday, she died from those complications. In other October news, Douglas Haig, the man who sold illegal ammunition to the gunman in the 1 October shooting, pled guilty. Haig is a 57-year-old aerospace engineer who used to reload bullets at his home in Mesa, Arizona, and sell them at gun shows. Haig is not accused of having a direct role in the October 1 shooting. However, now his days of illegally manufacturing tracer and armor-piercing bullets are over.
It has a little less than a week since the Sagas High School shooting in Santa Clarita, California, and authorities are taking time this week to examine weapons seized from the home of the shooter Nathaniel Burhow. Police are also scrubbing social media accounts, trying to learn about what spurred the violence that left the students dead and 3 wounded in Santa Clarita. As of now, the Los Angeles County Sheriff's Department seized unregistered weapons from the home of Nathaniel Burhow, while homicide detectives are working with the U.S. Secret Service to examine those teenagers' electronics and social media accounts. As a result, authorities are saying that both weapons and electronics investigations are expected by the end of the week.
Racers took to the track this month. Our reporter, Alyssa Anderson, has the update for more.
The 2019 annual racing event is here. It is set to kick off this weekend and more here in Primm, Nevada. We've got a host champion here in which he goes by Bootsy. He is one of the guys who helps promote the event and gets the crowd involved. He is also here to tell us more about what he does.
Well, thank you very much, Alyssa, for having me. So we're right here with World Off-Road Championship Series side-by-side finals. It's very exciting for us. It's going to be a dual format race. Saturday, we're going to start off with our short track, which is behind up to your right there, which is just a short, about 1.5 mile long track. And then on Sunday, we're going to move over to the off-road portion of the style, which is more typically for people that are familiar with racing. It's going to be more like a Baja style racing. It's about a 7-mile track, jumps, dirt, lots of dirtiness, full fun. Anybody from little kids that are about 7 years old to pros, we're going to have out here racing this weekend.
And he also tells us what to expect if this is your first time attending.
Very noisy, a lot of dust. Well, not just a lot of dirt flying. We do a very good job actually at dust control, keeping the track water so that the riders can see. Just if you like cars or you're into fast moving cars, think of like a Formula One style race of where the road courses, but just on dirt instead. Or if obviously people are familiar with motorcycle racing, similar thing. We ride almost the same exact tracks. It's just that they're in a side-by-side, which is a small, think of a souped-up golf cart. You know, so you kind of want to say, all right, a small car that's been outfitted to race.
As this event happens every year, be sure to come out frequently. For Studio G, I'm Melissa Anderson.
Thanks, Alyssa. Be sure to find your favorite racer on the track.
Burger King is getting sued over their Impossible Burger. A vegan in Georgia is suing the fast food chain because he believes though the patty is meatless, the burger may be cooked in animal byproducts. The popular food chain suggests vegans let the cashier know about their dietary restrictions prior to putting in their order, so the cooks can make their food separate from any non-vegan byproducts.
You would think that, if I tell you I'm vegan, you're not going to mix it with the other food.
Yeah, I would have definitely expected to be, not cooked in animal byproducts.
Yeah, that
was a mess up, Burger King.
That's terrible. Las Vegas is known as Sin City, and the Erotic Heritage Museum tells a tale of our city's history in the sex industry. Reporter Katie Streit talks with the director of the museum, Dr. Hartman, about the sex culture in our town, as well as sex worker rights.
Gives people a way to safely explore sexuality. Our museum is a little different because Vegas is a different kind of city. A lot of people come here because there's nudity all over our billboards. Our moniker is "What happens here stays here." So there's a lot of eroticism that sort of goes hand in hand with the idea of Las Vegas. And unlike other museums, which they might want to sex it up in their museums, we actually try to make it more academic and more of a learning environment as our own little counterculture to what Vegas has to offer.
However, Las Vegas and Nevada as a whole has a unique perspective on sexuality and the sex industry.
You would think that in a state like Nevada, where we do have legal sex work, that it would be something that is part of the discussion just as a matter of course. The idea that everyone that's in sex work is trafficked and therefore they're slaves and therefore they are being abused is part of the common narrative right now. I think Nevada has a unique place in that conversation because we do have sex workers and we do have them showing up to legislative meetings. We do have them showing up and defending their livelihood and said, no, wait a minute. You don't speak for us. You don't get to speak for us. You're not a sex worker. We are, and we know what kind of working conditions we want.
But what is the solution? Currently, there is a debate going on between legalization and decriminalization. Legalization would provide sex workers more resources and health benefits. On the other hand, many sex workers are advocating for decriminalization. This will allow them to report violent crimes without being prosecuted, in addition to having more freedom in the workplace. Dr. Victoria Hartman doesn't believe she can change the minds of those already set, but advocates for people to be more aware of the issues that are going on in the community.
I would say talk to adult performers, talk to sex workers, talk to them, ask them about what they need and what they want in terms of the kind of work that they do.
Nevada's sex industry has been a budding topic recently. Just last month, a federal court sued Nevada brothels at an attempt to shut them down, but failed.
Student journalists at Northwestern University in Illinois are under fire. Last week, the university's independent student newspaper published an editorial that apologized how it covered campus protests at the college Republicans event. Now, former Attorney General Jeff Sessions was in attendance, which was the fuel for the protest. The Daily Northwestern apologized to its community for standard journalistic practices, such as taking pictures in public protests and interviewing students.
Homelessness has been on the rise in southern Nevada, causing public health and safety concerns. Las Vegas Council recently approved a homelessness ordinance they believe will help the city.
Protesters are in uproar about the new ordinance, calling it a war on the poor. This new law is made to keep homeless off the streets in downtown Las Vegas and residential areas, says Mayor Pro Tem Michelle Fiore.
So number one, it doesn't take effect till January of 2020. So for the next 90 days, we are going around and we're talking with our people that are camping. And it's not so much of being homeless, it's the people that are camping in public right-of-ways and private property to where, and it's a specific area, it's downtown. Our ordinance, first, either the police or our marshals, our city marshals will say, listen, you can't really camp here. So they can just walk away. And the enforcement walks away. If they say, well, I don't know where to go, we will actually ask if they would like us to transport them. And the biggest thing with this ordinance is if we don't have any space in our shelters where they can actually go and get help, where they can get jobs, housing, and healthy checkups, then we don't enforce it. So
however, if there is space in a shelter and that individual refuses to be transported and doesn't pack up their belongings to sleep somewhere else, they could face misdemeanor charges. This is Sabria Reed reporting with Studio G.
All this is wild. What do you think about this?
I honestly think that it's a war on homeless people. I think that these homeless people aren't going to have anywhere to go.
Yeah, I definitely think it's terrible to lock them up when we should be giving like tax dollars to help them, help the services, help all that.
Yeah, it's sad.
With the new homeless ordinance going into effect January 2020, we hope to see positive changes among the homeless community.
Kylie Jenner's company, Kylie Cosmetics, made her named World's Youngest Billionaire by Forbes. But now the young billionaire has recently sold the majority stake of her company to beauty company Coty, who is the parent company of CoverGirl. Kylie stated that the partnership will allow me and my team to stay focused on the creation of the development of each product while building the brand into an international beauty powerhouse.
Welcome back to another segment of Moments with Mark. Let's get right into it. Homecoming 2019 was amazing last week. Teams are going wild to win the newly introduced Homecoming Championship title belt. In the end, the sorority Alpha Gamma Delta came out on top and won the homecoming title. And get this, they did it solo. No help, no other organizations, just Alpha Gamma Delta. So congrats to them. Next, Kanye West is back, and he's back with some great news. Kanye will have an opera show at the Hollywood Bowl on November 24th. Tickets went on sale on Monday at noon, starting at $120. Kanye has been busy over the past week. He recently tweeted out a picture of him and Dr. Dre a few days ago, captioned that a sequel to his most recent album, Jesus is King, is coming soon. Rumors speculate that Kanye will release an album on or around Christmas, and honestly, I'm so ready for that. Next, Disney fans rejoice. Disney Plus is here. Disney rolled out their new streaming service last week. After the first week, The Mandalorian, a new Star Wars spin-off following a new bounty hunter-style character like Boba Fett, is the streaming service's highest demanded show. Outside of the few thousands of Disney Plus subscribers with their accounts hacked and information stolen and sold on the dark web, Disney Plus looks like a promising streaming service with more Disney classics and new Disney shows to come. Those are your moments with Mark for today. Stay tuned to Studio G for all the latest Moments with Mark.
What a morning. Our reporter Alyssa Anderson has the update for more.
This morning you probably saw some slight rainfall. Take a look at the Las Vegas area as the roads are still very wet. Reporting to you from UNLV-TV, my name is Alyssa Anderson.
Thanks, Alyssa. Be safe on the roads the rest of the week. And milk's largest milk producer just filed bankruptcy. I have more on the story.
Do you find yourself asking, should I use almond milk or milk? Most people used to consider milk as a nutritional part of their day. America's largest milk producer, Dean Foods, filed bankruptcy this past week due to milk consumption going down 39% in the past 4 years, along with their stock losing 80% this year. Today, many people are going for organic alternatives like almond milk or oat milk. Even with milk alternatives expected to top out at $18 billion this year, milk is still bringing in $120 billion, making the milk alternatives still a fraction of the milk industry. Milk producers say that consumers shouldn't be able to notice a difference in their grocery stores after the bankruptcy filed, but critics say that this is the very start to the business shutting down altogether. What do you think the future of milk will be? Reporting with Studio G, I'm Ashley Palia.
Whether you're a supporter or not of the milk decline, the future of milk should be an interesting one.
Breaking news! The Duke of York will no longer be making public duties due to his former association with Jeffrey Epstein. He has asked Queen Elizabeth to step down, and she has agreed.
The Hong Kong protests continue the Polytechnic University. We have CNN reporter Anna Corin at the scene.
Protesters walk through the wreckage of their former stronghold, giving themselves up to police ready to face arrest and prosecution. This is the Hong Kong Polytechnic University. What's left behind, proof of the violent clashes between protesters and police over the weekend. This protester's weapon of choice was a bow and arrow. Happy to pose for photos on Saturday, by Tuesday he is exhausted and walks out to be arrested by police.
So why did you decide to use a bow and arrow within this movement?
We are not a monster, we are not the killers. We just want to protect myself.
The police had said bow and arrow is a lethal weapon, so they may use live fire.
But their guys have a gun, they want to kill us. We don't have a choice.
But not everyone is ready to accept defeat. So-called frontliners watch helplessly as others leave. This one tells us he is 16 years old. He says he's been here for 8 days, and he's so tired he struggles to keep his eyes open. But he's determined to keep fighting.
We want to stay behind and liberate Hong Kong.
A lot of people are leaving. How do you feel about that?
I think we should keep going and stay. Hong Kong is relying on us.
So for those that want to stay and fight, they have plenty of weapons. This is the main courtyard just next to the main entrance, and there are boxes and crates of petrol bombs still here. We have seen methanol, we've seen acetone, probably taken from one of the laboratories within the campus itself. There's lighter fluid, there are gas canisters, and it's all just casually left here in the middle of the courtyard.
Just a week ago, stockpiles of explosives like this would have been shocking, but a lot has changed in a week. Eric Chung is a solicitor who has voluntarily come to advise those who want to leave.
For those underage, they know that we got to deal with the police, that they won't be arrested, so they can leave. They can return home soon.
Medics stand by to treat those who have given themselves up. Youngsters wrapped in foil, exhausted and sombre, as the reality of the consequences of their actions sets in. Paula Hancock's CNN, Hong Kong.
The U.S. Senate has condemned the Hong Kong protesters this morning. At least 10 have committed suicide. More than 2,000 students have been injured and arrested.
Thanks for watching Studio G.
That's all the stories we have for you today. Make sure to check us out on social media.
Make sure to tune in next Wednesday for our Thanksgiving newscast. Until then, I'm Mark Chisholm.
And I'm Ashley.